Hi, thank you so much for joining me today. This is Jenny Oya with Nuggets and Things. Oh my gracious, I listen to people talk to me all the time. I'm a great listener, honey. Sometimes you don't want me to hear what you just said, but I heard you. I heard exactly what you said and what you meant to say and what you tried to say, and in a roundabout way. You hear all those dynamics, right? But we ought to always remember a lot of our wisdom came from life experiences, things that we learned, you know, through lessons. It didn't just come to us one day, we wake up one morning and somebody serves a tray full of wisdom. A lot of our wisdom came from, experiences that we had to go through, things that we saw, things that we experienced, things that we heard from others, someone else has taught us. So we got to be patient with other people because they haven't grown to the place that you are. Don't, you know, be patient. Be patient and be there. You have that sound wisdom. You have that knowledge. Sometimes your knowledge and wisdom just means that, to stay silent. You know, you stay silent and you just be there because they got to learn. I know I talk to people and their experiences come from, sometimes they forget, right? You're 35 years old now, but what you was doing at 20 and 19 can't compare to what you're doing at 35. It shouldn't anyway, because you should have grown. You should have grown to a place that the stuff that you used to do, you learn from those things that you're not going to do those things, or you mature and graduate, elevate, whatever word you want to use, so that you don't have to repeat those same crazy stuff we used to do. I mean, what we just like some kind of silly. I like using the word silly because I don't like to call people dumb, stupid. I just say we were silly. We did silly stuff because we didn't know no better. We were immature, unexperienced, or inexperienced, right? Oh, I saw this thing the other day. Now I'm coming back, honey. People talk about your grammar. I said, honey, what you hear is what you hear. You hear me? Look, grammar is so overrated. They teach you that from the time you go to kindergarten all the way through college. Grammar. And then still talk the way they want to talk. So I just skip all of that and I just come to you just the way I am. And this is just who I am. Period. Point blank. Catisco. Okay? This is it. But anyway, back to what I was saying. you know, you have to understand your children, your grandchildren, anyone that has, 9 times out of 10, most time they're younger than you. But sometimes, honey, you can find some folks that are younger than you, got more sense than you got. And you ain't got to like it, but it's still the truth. You know? And when you begin to listen to people, you find out just how much sense they really got. Everybody didn't have to get the bumps that you had to get and go through the experience that you went through. Some of them just watched you go through it. They saw you go through your hell, your trials, your dark times, your dark places, and said, okay, I knew what caused them to get there. I saw what happened for them. So I'm going to avoid that. Ain't that smart? Ain't that smart? You hear me? That's just smart. A lot of us ain't been smart like that. We see them hit them bumps and we try to see whether or not is it that bumpy or was it them. So we go on that same road instead of learning from that experience. And we could learn a lot easier and a lot faster. People tell me many times, "Oh, you're such a wise queen. You're so wise, honey." If you could see my battle wounds, honey, my scars, my pitfalls. If I could show you the bruises and the bumps in my life that got me here, I'm in my pretty 60s now. I wish I knew and I absorbed this information a long time ago. That I didn't have to go through the stuff I went through. I wish I didn't, but it was my path, right? Now I got here and I'm on this little place, the little rock I'm on, right? I'm on a rock now, honey. Trust me, I'm not on no sand now. I had some sandy days, some sandy years. Everything I did, it just seemed to fall apart. But now I'm on some solid rock now. right? You can't just move me any kind of way now. Because now I know what I know. And I can stand on it. And I can show you receipts, paperwork, whatever you need to show you this works. Try this right here because it works, right? Because I done got burned enough times to know this works, honey. You know, I done got, missed because I didn't think it worked, right? So this that I'm sharing with you is because I know it works. I can stand behind this. Some things I can't stand behind. I can say, well, I heard. I'm hoping it's true. But this I can tell you, this wisdom that I have came from life lessons, a whole lot of them. And I didn't get here to brag about how smart I am and looking at you and saying, ain't you ever going to learn? No, 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 no. I'm watching you learn. And if you take out the time and say, Queen, can you help me? Jenny Oya, can you help me? Miss Lady, can you help me? Whatever you, come on. Can you help me? Because this is a problem for me. And when someone says to me, this is a problem for me, that means they first had to acknowledge it is a problem, recognize that problem, and then want help with the problem. But now, me jumping in somebody's problem that they don't see or consider a problem is going to be a problem because they don't see it that way. And they're trying to figure out why you're in that business. You hear me? I know you hate seeing them getting skint up. You don't like the fact that they're having the issues they're going through. You don't like who they chose in life. You don't think it's fair what's happening to their life, but they're sitting in it right now. And sometimes, until they cry out to you for help, you need to just sit on the sideline and wait and see if lessons are taught. Now, I'm not telling you now, if you see somebody in a situation that is life-threatening, that you don't move on it. I'll never tell anybody that because I won't move on them. But if it's not life-threatening and they are happy what they're going through, even though they tell you they're unhappy, and yet you see them later on, choose your battles, sweetie. You can't save everybody. That's one. Number two, people will let you know when they're ready for your advice and your help or your hand. They'll let you know, because tired means you are ready to change something now. That's when you're tired. You can't tell me you're tired now and you still lay back in what you're doing. There's a whole lot of dynamics to that, right? Because there's situations, everybody's situation can be different. Sometimes you got to do groundwork, honey. Do your groundwork and make sure what you're seeing is what it is. Sometimes you jump in there and you think that this person is the innocent one and find out in actuality, they're the predator. That other person who you thought was the predator is actually the victim, because you don't move too fast. Because sometimes you can be biased, right? You can have your little prejudice, right? You just assume because it's your child, they innocent. Or because that's your friend, they innocent. Honey. Listen to the whole story, And many of my counseling sessions, I tell them, look, I heard you and I heard you. Somewhere in the middle is the truth. Because everybody wants to make their story sound good. And everybody wants you to side with them, right? But you got to understand, before you go and think about taking a side, you better make sure you done heard both parties equally. You can't show that favoritism because that's your child, that's your wife, that's your husband, that's your mama, that's your dad. I understand you love them, and I'm not telling you not to love them. Love them, honey. But honey, don't partake in something that's wrong and you don't know what the deal is unless it's life-threatening. If it's life-threatening, you got to move on it. If it ain't, choose your battles. That's all I'm saying. Choose your battles. But allow people to grow up. Allow them to mature. That's what's wrong with us sometimes. We don't let people grow up in their own time, and we try to make them grow up too fast. Everybody wants to got your child out here, as I said, being too grown. Let them sit the tail down somewhere and learn. Woo! My day, every child was supposed to be a child. You didn't dress your little girl like a woman. Your little girl was dressed like a little girl. So those men was not mistaking her as a woman. You know, that's where we came from now. You know, that's me now. You can do what you want to do, but I'm just telling you, see, the ancestors, you know, our generation back and back, they knew what they were doing to make sure that, you know, that she looked like this at this age, because they knew there was eyes everywhere on your sons as well as your daughters. Be careful now. So everything you do, when somebody's trying to help you with something, you know, don't get so, you know, get your little, you know, get that little attitude. That's what the problem is today. These are, you know, nobody can't teach you nothing. They can't show you nothing sometimes. You know how it is, right? You got these aunties and grannies and all these folks out here. They know stuff. They're trying to help you. And you sitting there saying, that's my child. Ain't nobody gonna tell you now, because I read you read. Okay, you're right. That's your child. But now, this is what I tell folks, and I will repeat it. Don't you raise that pig to be a hog and want me to gut it. And let me break it down for you. Don't you raise that child or that person to go wild and be crazy, do all the stuff you let them do. And then when you can't control them no more, then you're gonna call me and ask me, can you help me with so-and-so? When I was trying to help you the whole time, you wasn't buying it, you didn't want it. Honey, no, boo. You're not giving me the hard work. Let's take care of it while it's tender. You know, you can train up something when it's young. You know, a tree is good when it's young. You can't wait till that tree is full grown. Now all of a sudden I want to do. That's a full grown tree now. You know, wisdom, honey. You got to be open for wisdom, for one, because you got some people around us all the time who's ready to pour into our lives something that we need right now to get us out of the mess sometimes we are in. You know, and they can help you. But you on that little high horse, honey. I understand the little high horse. You know, but one day that horse gonna get tired of carrying you. Because sometimes you're gonna, you know, put a little extra weight on that horse. And it's gonna give out on you. Then you're gonna look back and try to figure out where was those people who said they could help me before. You left them, remember? You know? Never get too big, honey, that you can't take advice. Right? And never get to a place that you think you got to give advice to everybody. Because some folks got to learn. And trust me, honey, they will learn. One way or another, they're going to learn. And when they learn it, they'll start to grow because they done found out something. You see a little child messing around with that little hot stove, and you said, don't mess with that stove. Don't mess with that stove because it's hot. Hot, mama, hot, hot, hot. But then one day they reach over there and touch it. Mama, hot. Okay, there you go. See, I done told you it was hot. You know? But you need to find out how hot it really is. Now you know. You know? Sometimes you got to do that. I know you want to get in it. I know you want to straighten it out. I know you want to fix it, and I know you have an answer. But sometimes you got to let your hands back and let them see what they need to see. Unless, again, it is life-threatening, then you must move. If it is not, honey, that little Johnny, little Sally, let them learn that lesson. And guess what? When they come to you after that, you know, I didn't know, blah, 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 blah. Then you can give your little advice. Because you knew. And you were waiting for them to say, can you help me? And until they do sometimes, you got to let them go. You know, that's part of life. You know, I could imagine many times, you know, if our parents could, they would have stepped in and intervened for us many a times. But some things they knew we had to learn. They did not like the fact we were hitting walls. They didn't like the fact that we were struggling, we were suffering, we were, you know, going through whatever it was. But sometimes they knew, baby, I'm trying to help you, but you're not listening to me. So I gotta let you learn. Sometimes you gotta let them learn, and they're gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right. You know, follow your lead. You know, every situation is different. I'm just saying to you, some things You just got to get down on your knees or raise your hands up and just say, I pray that they be okay. And speak to your God about that situation and trust that they will move on your behalf. Right? And you be in that place of safety. And they need you, you're there. All right? Thank you for your time, for your moment. Let your light forever shine. You be awesome in everything that you do. Make every day a special day. And be mindful of everyone that you meet. Because you never know what anybody is going through, what they need from you, and what you may need from them. Okay? So be sweet to people. Be nice. Let your love, just let it pour out. Sometimes that's all people need is a little love, which is shining on their life. Have a fantastic day. This is Jenny O'Yao with Nuggets and Things. Thank you so much. You have a great one. And look up, honey, because it's getting better.